How are you doing today? How's this amazing individual feeling right
Oh,
now?
I'm feeling great. Yeah, I can't complain. Life has been busy, but it's been a good kind of busy. And really appreciate the time to invite me to this podcast. It's always a lot of fun getting to chat with other homies on Twitch, and it'll be a fun time today. So I'm looking forward to it, Devin.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's yeah, I mean it's exciting to like finally continue to be streaming this podcast for especially since it's been like quite some time now. And so it's yeah, I mean it's really nice to pick it back up and continue the series with you collaborating on this podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so let's go ahead. What we're gonna do is the format here is gonna be we're gonna ask some general podcast questions here, just some like really general questions, like warm-up questions, and then we're gonna start to get into what I call the shape-shifting questions. So it's gonna be where I'm gonna be asking you like what you would who or what you'd want to shape-shift into. And so, and then we're going to get into the streaming specific questions and the gaming specific questions. So,
Mhm.
the first question I'm going to ask everybody this, the very first, which is going to be my very first question here. If you had a superpower, what would that superpower be?
Oh man. Superpower. I feel like I've been asked this question plenty of times in the past, but
Oh man.
my answer always seems to vary depending on the mood I'm in. But um I really want to travel, so I think my power would could be teleportation. I feel like that'd be very convenient because if you want to, go somewhere, you don't like boom, you don't have to pay for gas or boom, like, if you want to go to like a certain major or something for an event, you just teleport there
Yeah.
and that saves you a ton of money. So, and time. Time is also really important too. So, I think that's a good answer.
Yeah, I think I we need a teleporter, honestly. Like somebody needs to invent the teleporter so we don't have to drive anywhere. Just like you said, because driving when you get that traffic, when you're in that traffic, it's like, oh well, I'm in traffic. So yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, I gotta wait now, and it's gonna take like, maybe 30 minutes or so. Depends on the distance, of course. So yeah, I mean, having a teleporter would be absolutely super super nice.
Oh yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah, it saves money, it saves time, like you said, and you don't have to deal with traffic or literally anything like that, and don't have to, go to airports or anything either. So you're pretty much set.
Right. Yeah. It is very sad. Now, we always talk about the useful superpowers, but if you had a useless one, what would it be?
A useless one.
Yeah.
Oh, because that is something I've never thought of before. But what even would be considered like a useless superpower? Because like the first thing I could think of is like saving those like having some kind of power that would save those like minor inconveniences for you. But I can't think of a specific example. Have you heard anything like any examples that stand out to you?
A lot. Last one was the power to fly, but being afraid of heights.
Wait, what? So wait, you want to fly, but you're scared of height. So
Yeah.
how is that?
I don't know. I don't
That's
know.
funny.
But yeah, that was a funny one. And then there's been like a lot of other interesting answers that we've had. But mine would be is I would have to stare at a laptop, and if I wanted to like unplug everything with using just my power of telepathy or telekinesis, then I could only stand like 6 feet in front of the laptop and just unplug one little USB plug at a time, and that would be it.
Mhm. Huh. Like I'm just thinking about it too, and I'm like, okay, I think I understand the question. Because like all the things I'm trying to think of, I'm like, no, because that's too convenient, or that's too useful. Because like the first thing I was thinking of, like, what's something that's would be convenient? It's like, oh, like, well, it's not really. Shoot, I'm actually a little stumped here because yeah, all the examples I'm thinking of, it somehow like is a convenience thing for you. But uh hmm. And that's something I'll have to think of, like, for the rest of the day and be like, "Hmm, what would an inconvenient power be?"
What about just like uh the ability to like create a keyboard, but then you can only use it for like 5 minutes a day or
I
something
feel
like
like that
that.
you know what? That could okay, but, like, hear me out. Like, if you did that, like, say you had a job that involved that keyboard, and then in a way it could also be a convenience because it's like you tell your boss, "Oh, sorry, man, I can only do it for 5 minutes," and, then you're pretty much free off work, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that.
Five
That
minutes out of like 8 hours or something.
that yeah. Yeah, that could be a good answer, yeah. I
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
Well, if you could, since we were on the teleportation topic here a second ago, if you could do more than just teleportation, and if you could actually like time travel through space and time, how do you think you would see yourself in the future?
Ooh, how would I see myself in the future? So how far in the future are we talking? Are we talking like 5 years, 10 years? Are we talking about like senior age or something?
Let's
Because
say 10 years.
10 years from now, that I'm always trying to think like even that same question is like, oh, where do you see yourself in 10 years? But let me think, because 10 years from now, I mean, well, I'm comparing 10 years in the past and 10 years like now. My life has definitely changed, and I'd like to think that it would change. Ideally, have my career, like my full career, probably planned by then, hopefully. Because I find for me, like my career has been jumping around. I've been jumping from idea to idea. So hopefully by then, career would be good. Maybe have like a family. Like married to someone. Definitely having variety of pets as well. Like that's something I see in the future if I were, to time travel 10 years from now.
I do
I don't
pets.
know if
Okay.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if you're an animal person yourself, but I gotta have a dog, gotta have maybe a cat. I mean, I love cats and a gecko for sure.
Gecko.
I'm
Oh,
going to have a gecko.
okay. Okay, well, I do have a cat, but a gecko. All right, all right.
Mhm, mhm.
Never thought of that as actually. Well, I've seen like maybe one or two people with a gecko as a pet, but I don't think nobody's ever answered gecko. So that's interesting. It's really cool. Um,
Mhm.
yeah, wow.
It's mainly my sister who's kind of influenced me to, like she has a gecko herself,
Okay.
and I've had to like pet sit for her a few times, but her gecko is beyond adorable, and I'm like, I need a gecko now. They're really silly, but they're also really cute. So they're an underrated pet in my opinion.
Yeah, yeah, I understand that. Oh man.
Mhm.
Okay, okay. That's cool. Have you ever thought about like maybe getting like a ferret or something, maybe a weasel or something?
Ooh, well, funny thing. So I used to work at a pet store, right? So we've
Okay.
had to take care of a variety of pets over there. Ferrets were one of them, which the downside is they do they have a bit of a smell to them.
Yeah.
So like if you're not, fully prepared for that or if you're unaware of that, then might be in a bit of trouble there.
Yeah.
But yeah, yeah. But ferrets, yeah, they're really cute though. I wouldn't be opposed to getting it, but I'd have to make sure that it's like okay, like you have to make sure that they're not going to smell out the place too much, but they're really playful, they're really cute. I actually have a picture of a ferret in my sleeve when I was working at the pet store, so I thought
Oh,
that was pretty funny too.
nice. That's kind of
um
cool.
oh yeah, yeah, like as I said, I love animals, so yeah, ferrets is definitely like an answer that I would not be opposed to. Hedgehogs as well, actually, those
Hmm,
little guys, and chinchillas as well.
hmm,
um
hmm.
I have a lot of answers. I'm pretty open to a lot of these things.
My
So,
sister used to have a chinchilla. Yeah.
oh my god, what was their name?
What was it? Wow, I actually forgot. I forgot what her name is, but um,
That's a good name. No, I'm kidding.
yeah, it's there you go. I forgot her name. Um,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah. Well, anyway, but yeah, like the chinchilla was pretty nice for a bit, and then it just kind of turned, and so my sister was like, "Okay, I think it's time to let this one go." But
Oh yeah.
it was a nice pet for a little bit.
Mhm, mhm.
And I thought it was like I thought she named it something like Bunny or something, but
Oh,
I don't remember.
That's adorable.
Yeah, I think it was something
The
like
cute
that.
name. One of my buddies also has a pet named Bunny, but well, it's not a chinchilla, or not a chinchilla. Sorry, you weren't saying that. Well, it's the name of their cat, but I just think that's a good name in general for a pet. So,
Yeah. Yeah, I know actually I know that Fatality in the Smash community, he also has a cat, tortoiseshell named Bunny. I was like,
yeah,
"Oh, that's kind
exactly.
of cool."
Yeah, that's literally what I was talking about.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. Well, now what we're gonna do is we are gonna head into the shape shifting questions, and so I'm gonna ask you what you would, or here who or what you would teleport into, and so my first question is, if you could teleport into, like, just as like a practical joke, like if you could teleport into any real life person at all, or not teleport, transform into a real life person, then who would it be?
A real life person.
Yeah.
Uh, okay. Well, first thing that I can think of, like maybe. Oh gosh, actually, like the first thing I think of is celebrity. But with celebrity, it's also like kind of a double-edged sword there, because while they are famous for something, it's also like it's a very different lifestyle than what I'm used to. Um, and the thing is, like, with my own lifestyle, like, I'm pretty content with how it is. I can't really say, like, I compare my own life to anybody else's. But if I had to transform to somebody, um, you know, this might be a very strange answer, but it might have something to do with me looking up to her a lot, but maybe my sister, because
Okay.
she is she has a lot of things. She's a bit old, well, quite a bit older than me, but she has a lot of things, I guess, figured out, where I'm thinking like, damn, like I wish I had these things figured out too. But
Yeah.
in a way, I look up to her, and a lot of the things that she does, it's something that I really want in a way. But I am younger than her, and life currently can't allow me, to do the things that she does. But I think that might be my answer, because she has a good life, and someone that I really look up to. She's achieved a lot of things that I think are really respectable. So I think that could be my answer. I'm not sure if you've heard anything similar, but I think I'm set on this.
That's a good answer though. That's a good answer. Yeah.
Yeah, she's someone that like of course she's like my older sister, so she's kind of taught me a lot of things.
Huh.
Actually, well, I could even talk about this later, but she has influenced me a lot on gaming, especially,
Oh yeah.
which in some way that does influence me being on Twitch, right?
Okay.
But that's a whole different topic over there. But
Okay.
she's awesome.
Okay. Who? Okay. So who wins against who in what video game? Is it you or is it her?
Depends on the game, but I oh yeah, like a majority of the games that we play nowadays, like I could definitely beat her. But
Oh
the,
man.
the thing is, and I also have a brother as well, funny enough, because like he also influenced me on gaming and stuff. But if for my sister, she would probably be good at oh, actually no, Pokemon. She'd probably be able to beat me, because she's the person that introduced me to it. But
Mhm.
she also plays a lot of Pokemon.
Yeah.
Seems to know a lot more than me. My brother, he beats me in shooters, but besides that, like I'm pretty comfortable in any other genre. Like if I'm ever playing against them, so that's my answer.
Nice.
Mhm,
Nice. Nice.
mhm.
But yeah, to reel it back in, if I had to, I beat my brother in Smash all the time. Let's be honest. But no, seriously, like to reel it back in. So if I had to transform into anybody, it'd have to be Keanu Reeves. I'm sticking with that answer. Stuck it
Ooh,
with it.
why
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves?
Because one, so I remind some people of Keanu Reeves, and so I could probably, I don't know, I could probably imitate him pretty well. And then I had to study him a little bit more, though. I'm just gonna have to say, like, if I had to watch his interviews just a little bit, though, to
Yeah,
really know. And
yeah.
then yeah, and then and that's kind of the simple answer of things. But yeah, but he is also like, he seems like a really cool guy. So yeah.
Mhm. I was gonna say Keanu Reeves. I was gonna say this before you said it, but a lot of people respect him and his work. He seems like a very down to earth guy as well. Um, I know there's one interview that comes to my head where he's like getting interviewed, but there's a bunch of puppies, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yes, I know
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love it so much, and he looks so like happy and stuff, and it's like, oh my god, this is so wholesome.
Yeah. Right. It's yeah, I was like, yeah, I was looking at that video too, and I was like, okay, yeah, he's he's definitely a dog person, you know. So that's cool. That's really nice.
Oh yeah. No, the guy in general just seems very like down to earth and super kind. And you know what the thing is too? I'm really, well, at least from what I've seen, I'm glad that fame hasn't exactly gotten to him because
Right.
him, Jack Black as well, if I remember, like they're very, very, they seem down to earth, very chill guys, but they don't let fame affect their personality, which is something I really respect.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Also, I see Nanostone. Hi, Nanostone.
what's up, Nana Stone? Yeah.
Mhm.
Well,
But no, I love it.
yeah, right. If you could transform into any cartoon animal based character, like what would it be? Like what species would it be?
Cartoon animal character. So from any like cartoon or anything like that. Oh, actually, hang on. Do Pokemon counts?
Sure.
um, cause thinking about it, I mean, maybe something like well, oh, hang on. I gotta think about this because like there are certain cartoon characters that are like, oh yeah, they have a really chill life, or but like a Pokemon, you're just a strong Pokemon, and you have these like Pokemon powers and all, which are really cool. But I'm biased, I'm a huge Pokemon fan, so that might have something to do with it. Um,
Big
I'm
end
I'm
game goes. This is a tough question.
yeah, it is Nate's. Yeah, what's up, Nate's? Because like, yeah, again, it's catching me off guard with some of the questions, but something you know what? Palkia could be a good answer, just controlling like you have Palkia and Dialga that control space and time. That whole idea of Palkia, that's pretty cool. And Palkia is my favorite legendary, so maybe that has something to do with it. But maybe the Bolson doesn't get, what do you mean? um Let me think. I could say Palkia for like an easy answer. I mean, it's really bad as Pokemon. It's very strong. The whole, I guess, idea behind it's pretty cool. But um, did you have any like ideas yourselves, or are there any answers that you've heard in the past that really stand out, Devin?
Some of them have been. Oh my gosh, it's been a long time since I've done the podcast series. I should have looked back, but one of them I think was one of them was a fox. The other one was a snow leopard, and so I've heard those two. Those are the main things that come to mind. And then what was the other one? There was one other. I think it was a some kind of. It wasn't a bear. It was but yeah, anyway, I've heard of answers kind of like that, but again, it's been a while since I've streamed this podcast series, so it's actually kind of difficult to remember at the moment.
Hmm.
Um, but if it were me personally, Pokemon wise, I would I'd hands down go Pikachu,
Oh
hands
yeah.
down. Um, a real species, like a real animal, it would have to be either a mouse, but like an anthropomorphic mouse, or it would have to be a cat. Either one of those two, I'd be fine with.
Ooh.
And so
Okay.
yeah, and yeah. So but now that we got that out of the way, I want to ask, what if you had a roommate? Okay,
Mhm.
what anthropomorphic animal would you want to room with?
What I want a room with?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Again, very a question I probably have never been asked before. Yeah,
Spiny Coy's
'cause
like, what a question.
hi, Spiny. Um, um, and if it's something that I have to like room with. Okay, wait. Before I answered that, because you mentioned something about like if you had to transform to a real animal, a dog doesn't seem like a bad answer. And again, I don't think a dog would be a bad like example for this one either. Because like I already, live with a dog. I have a dog as a pet. So really, I don't think it'd be that bad of an answer just because, dogs, I mean, I feel like they'd be super chill to be around. They'd be chill roommates. They'd be energetic and stuff, but they'd always, give good vibes in the house. So I could maybe go with something like that.
Yeah.
Because I already live with a dog anyway, so it wouldn't be as different,
Yeah. I mean, dogs can be your best friend. So hey, there you go. You got it right there. So
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, I would if it was an anthropomorphic animal, I wouldn't mind being rooming with a dog either. But I almost like part of me wants to say like a ferret. Granted, they're not like the over dramatic roommate,
Mhm.
and they're just like they take everything lightly and they joke around about everything. That would be who I would go with
You said
personally.
a ferret?
Yeah, ferret.
But what about the smell though? Like we the
They
smell
would
of would they
they'd be
still
smart
smell?
enough to shower every day.
Unless if they game, then then that it'd be a bit of a problem. I'm kidding.
That yeah.
But no, I get that. Ferrets, like I said, they're very like they're little silly guys. And like I said, they're very playful. They're like relatively friendly too. So I think that's a pretty alright answer right there.
Yeah. Exactly, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead. We're going to move into the streaming specific questions now. And if the chat also has any questions that they would like to ask, then go ahead and fire away. We would love to hear your questions. So the first question that I'm going to ask is, which is always my first question, is how long have you been streaming for now?
So that is a good question because so I've been streaming for about 4 years. But for the first 3 years of streaming, it was very part time and very inconsistent times for streaming. Due to being busy with life stuff or job stuff, just a whole variety of things I found.
Hmm.
I didn't exactly take it as serious when I first started streaming because it to me it just felt like more something like I wanted to have fun with and not devote as much time as I should have. But ever since 2024, streaming has become a lot more consistent for me just because I've been wanting to grow it ever since. But um, yeah, my very first time streaming actually, one of my buddies actually got me into it, and this was around the time when the pandemic was actually pretty bad at the time. Basically, though I don't know if you want me to go into the reasons of why I got into streaming because that also ties into something different. But I could if you want. Totally up to you.
That was going to be my next question, actually.
Oh, that
So
convenient.
there you go.
I have a good answer for that because my whole reason for why I actually started streaming was because I think for a lot of us, feel free to comment on it and stuff, anyone in chat even, but pandemic definitely was a tricky time for a lot of people.
Mhm.
We all had to stay isolated and life changed for all of us for better or for worse. But for me, I guess being very transparent, it was a little bit of a tricky time for me personally. But streaming to me, when I first got into streaming, when my friend got me into it actually, he basically wanted to host a Smash Arena event, which you guys know what that is, of course. But him and I were in a voice chat, talking to people in chat the whole time, and I felt like I had a lot of fun, and it really much improved my mood. So I thought to myself, well, hey, like if this is what it does for me, like maybe I could make a difference to somebody else. If I stream and somehow make someone's day better, if they're having like a rough day or something, like I would like to be that difference to others. So next day, I bought my second monitor, a capture card, and LAN adapter, and rest is history.
Nice. Really, really
Mm.
nice. Yeah. It's always a good good big that's a big motivator too. It really shows like a good character to yourself when you have that kind of motivation to be able to like stream because like hey you're gonna leave an impact on somebody, just like you said, and so it's gonna be a positive impact. And yeah, I mean, I've definitely experienced it from definitely good streamers like yourself and whatnot. So yeah,
I
yeah,
appreciate that.
yeah.
I was gonna ask you why you started streaming too, because I know
Mhm.
you've been doing it for a while yourself, right?
Yeah. Yeah, I've been doing it for a little bit. And so, I mean, I'll be the one to admit that it kind of sounds a little bit greedy and whatnot, but like I was wanting to kind of raise money for a cartoon series, but then over time, I kind of realized, I really do like hanging out with my community. And so it really started to become a way more about that than let's go ahead and raise money, and also having fun with Smash Bros with other people was a huge motivator too. So it wasn't just like all about, oh, let's go ahead and so yeah, I didn't want to like make it all about that, um
Mm.
but definitely leaving a big impact on people, just like you said, is really just a huge motivator for me as well. So kind of like a lot of other streamers, especially like yourself and whatnot. And then there's a lot more details. Initially when I was streaming, the other thing that I was thinking about too was I mean, the Twitch industry is still kind of saturated, but like especially back when the pandemic was a big thing, there was just a lot of people who had a lot of difficulties like getting their word of mouth out, especially even on just social media and social networking in general. It was
Mhm.
I mean, it was so saturated. I was like, oh my gosh, like I can't get my word of mouth out. So when I first started streaming, I was hosting open arenas and best of three events, and I was every time somebody would have a best three against me, or if they would, yeah, if they would have a best three set against me, then I would say, hey, those were good games, and so if you want to, you can paste your link for your Twitter, help get your word of mouth out. So that was also a huge reason when I first started as well. And it did it when I and it started when like I was doing post commentary on YouTube. Uh, I decided, you know what, the hub, I used to have a hub where I would put in my SD card, because you know how like Smash Bros has its own built-in 720p uh, you know uh, converter, so that you
Mhm.
can convert replays and whatnot. So that's how I did it. I just put it on an SD card and Switch, took it out, put it in the hub, and then I just did post commentary in Adobe Premiere Pro, and so that's how I did it back in those days. And then when I got the capture card, I realized, wait a second, I remember thinking, um, I was going to uh stream, like I was thinking about streaming earlier, but I didn't want to invest at the time. I thought I have the chance right now, but why do I want to do it? And so I just started thinking of different reasons, and
Mhm.
so uh sat my sleepy Kirby in the background. Oh
Oh,
man.
yeah, you see the curve? That's like only one of the few I got a lot of plushies.
Yeah. Oh yeah. And it was interesting because like before 2018 even hit, my parents were like, "Hey, I'm seeing like different streamers on the site called Twitch, and they're like making money. You should probably start streaming." And at the time, I just wasn't really about it.
Mhm.
So, but things, it's interesting because it's almost like life can foreshadow things, and then like later it becomes a reality and whatnot. Um,
Mhm.
but yeah, so that's kind of how I came to the community. And now of course, well, I've already said why I stream now,
Yeah.
but yeah. But yeah, so what is one thing that you absolutely did not expect when you started streaming to Twitch?
I got a lot of answers for that, but if I had to make like a very I guess straightforward answer, pretty much never expected to be where I am today. Because when I first started, I had no expectations of how long I'd be doing this. I didn't know like what effects it would put on others. I didn't think I'd even, get any like money or like rarely any followers on it. I just wanted to do it just to try something new, have fun, and go out of my comfort zone. Because at the same time, like when I first started, it was something that I really wanted to do and, wanted to make a difference to others. But in my head, I was thinking like, I don't have any expectations of how far I'll get. Like maybe I'll get like a couple hundred followers, or heck, maybe I would just won't get any followers. But I guess the thing I just never expected about streaming, just how I am, how far I am today, and even today, like I don't know how much further I'll even get. I'd like to become, even bigger, but you never know what the future holds, right?
Yeah.
It sounds cliche, but with everything that's been happening on Twitch, I am trying not to focus too much on how much further I can get, but I'm more so enjoying I guess the path that it's creating right now and the experiences. Each day feels different when I do stream. I tend to meet a whole variety of people as well. So I just try not to have too many expectations in the first place. I always found that expectations could ruin the experience. But yeah, just overall, I'm really happy with how things have been going. Never expected to get this far, but hoping it'll get even bigger someday.
Yeah. Good goal. Good goal.
It's absolutely something that's it's turned into something wonderful altogether.
Yeah. I kind of feel I think I can be I think a lot of people can be. I mean, because that's a good point because you just never know what the future holds, you know.
Hmm.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
it's a good
Well,
answer.
that's the beauty of life, though. I mean, none of us really know what's going to happen in our future, but if you have the ability to, you should try things that make you uncomfortable. Try things that you have a bit of interest in, but it could develop into something really, really amazing.
Sorry, when you were saying that, I was thinking you're gonna say when if you have the ability to, you can just see into the future.
Uh, yeah, I like that though because I'm a huge Xenoblade fan.
Oh
Anyone in
yeah,
my community knows how much I love. Well, that's Shulk's game. For Xenoblade One, that is my favorite game of all time. One of them, at least. It's a little hard to kind of say, but
yeah.
yeah, it's like I should have said that.
Like I can see the future. Yeah,
I can see the
I
future.
can. Yeah. Oh man. So what was? You know what? I'm gonna ask something different here.
Yeah, no
Um,
problem.
let's see. So what is your um? Oh, these are pretty dark. I'm gonna save these for later. But let's do this. What was your most memorable moment in your streaming career?
Oh, so funny thing, this is probably actually more recent events. But because the funny thing is, last year, so 2023, actually just a couple days before New Year's,
Hmm.
I wrote down a like New Year's resolution on my phone.
Okay.
Um, I wasn't really expecting myself to reach any of these goals or go out of my comfort zone to reach these goals, but one of my goals was to somehow get noticed by, well, I'm not sure if you know the Party Crashers. They're a big YouTube group that I really look up to. Um,
Okay.
but they mainly focus on a lot of Mario Party stuff, but also a variety of other party games as well. But I recently had the chance to collaborate with one of them on stream, which was not only just a dream of mine, but definitely a stream that I will never forget, especially with just being able to like hang out, talk, play games with one of them. It was a really special experience, especially considering it's like if it's something that you really wanted, but you're like, oh, I don't have any expectations of it, but it ended up happening for me. So it's definitely one of the more memorable experiences for me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Also getting ready to buy Hungry Box. That was another streamer I really look up to. He ended up rating into me, which was another really big experience for me
Wow.
too. So yeah, yeah, and this happened just a couple months ago too. So it's just big events like this that really just catch me off guard, but things I will never forget.
Yeah.
So I definitely uh, beyond grateful. Like I'm still a little like not flustered, but very just shocked with how it all worked out. So
Yeah.
something I won't forget.
Yeah. Oh, it's so nice when like big streamers and people with big reputations like Hungry Box, they'll well, they raid, and it's like that's really nice of them because like they get like sometimes like 80 plus 80 or more like viewers, and you're getting like a certain amount of viewers, and it's like so I don't know, yes, it's pretty it's good, it's nice of them. I still I mean, my couple of my most memorable moments was like I've already said, but like Mr. Poppet gifting subs in my chat one time, which like super nice.
Mm.
Yeah, and then there was the more recent one. Last you remember this one. Last uh streaming anniversary that I had with Neo and Tori, and we were having a crew battle against each other, and so it was like the way that ended too was just like holy like crap, like that was so huge, the way that ended and the way that Emerald Kid just totally expected the hero player like zoom in back onto the stage, and he just perfectly times it, and then he does an up smash, and it was just oh my gosh.
Oh,
So
it's something you'll never forget. This was the crew battle that I was playing in, right? Or was this a different crew battle
I
by
think
any
no,
chance?
this is the one you're playing, and I know you're
Yeah.
like right in the middle of the crew battle, like right in. I think what how many stocks did we have? I think it was like 20 stocks or so.
Um, I don't. All I remember was I ended up taking like a decent amount of stocks because oh, well, I remember fighting. Oh god, there was a lot of people in the crew as well, but um,
It was
I
really
know
a
I
lot.
fought around the middle of it, but yeah, I remember the ending being really intense. I do
Yeah,
remember that.
yeah,
Yeah, that was honestly so entertaining to watch though. Crew
yeah.
battles are just full of energy, and that's what we love about the Smash scene, right?
Right. Yeah. Um, yeah, and if anybody hasn't seen it, I have a highlight of it on my Twitch channel.
Mhm.
Um, and so we're gonna start to kind of gradually get into the darker side of things. What was your biggest challenge? What is your biggest challenge that you're experiencing on Twitch, and what are you doing to overcome that?
Well, the funny thing is, I talked about this with one of my streamer friends yesterday.
Okay.
Won't disclose like who exactly, but we were talking about pretty much the same thing. But I think for me personally, because I've always tried to, think about things that I can improve on Twitch, but doubt is maybe the biggest thing that can. I think a lot of streamers could agree with this, but having that sort of doubts, wondering if you're doing enough for a stream, or if you're getting better, or if you're thinking like just negative and thinking, am I going downhill? Am I getting worse? My content getting worse? Doubt for me tends to be something that can be a little bit stressful to deal with. But how I normally deal with it is just you have to put those thoughts aside because doubting yourself is just, it's not the right thing to do. It's not going to help you. It certainly won't help your mentality right there. So it's just, you have to just kind of just go straight on, just keep on working on it, keep on working that mentality because I stream because I enjoy doing it. I enjoy meeting the people that I've met on Twitch. I can't let my own doubts just put that fear in me. I just have to just keep on going. And I think a lot of streamers at some point we all deal with doubts, but I've always found that there was a lot of streamers out there that always tried to support each other and be there for each other and hype each other up for content. Because at the end of the day, I don't see anyone on Twitch as like competition. We're all just here for the same goal, which is to entertain people. So, really, I guess another good way of dealing with that doubt is having other friends and, well, other streamers even just pretty much build you up and to hopefully cast those doubts aside. Because we're all human at the end of the day. We're not going to be perfect, but just can't let doubt stop you, right?
Yeah. Exactly. I think you and I have something very similar, or I guess in common. Because yeah, I know I've doubted myself like before when I would stream, because I'm like, well, am I not talking enough? Am I just not? And so
Mhm.
it's like, so but for me, I kind of discovered the reason why, and that's just because I have a really weird like sense of time. You know, in
Mhm.
real time, if that makes any sense. So like in real time, like if I'm playing a game, like the moments where I pause, and like I'm not talking in a specific moment, to me it feels like maybe 15 seconds or 20 seconds go by with me not talking or not saying
Mhm.
anything on stream. And then I watch myself in a VOD, and I paused for like 5 seconds, and I'm thinking, I don't even know how like my time perception works, but so I've just kind of learned every time I'm like, I'm not talking much. I'm okay, Devin, but you remember all those times where you watched the VOD and then you actually were talking a lot, like
Mhm.
So it's kind of like that's kind of how I've learned to deal with that kind of issue here with with doubting and your ability to entertain stuff. So it's
Mhm.
it's a
Mhm.
real thing, and it's a thing that I think everybody can work on overcoming.
Oh yeah. And like I'm not to it's not to say that I always have doubts, but from time to time I think we all have those sort of thoughts that try to creep in, and I think that's just being human. At the end of the day, we're not always going to be satisfied with what we put out, but in general, I'm always feeling confident with what I have and what I've achieved, but I'm always looking for ways to, improve myself and hopefully not have a bad mentality of anything, but
Hmm.
sometimes like you might not have like the best day or something, and you might think, like, oh shoot, it's like I could be so much better in this, or I could be doing better in that. But you can bounce back from it pretty quickly, and especially after like a good stream as well, when you feel you've proved to yourself that you can do it. So that's something that always seems to also help me out pretty easily.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. And Big N has a good point too. Like sometimes entertaining really is a difficult thing, um, and sometimes it's a difficult thing to be secure in. And so, but learning it, it's nice. It's fun to actually be part of internet entertaining community and whatnot. So, but yeah, that's a good response there.
I agree with that. Plus, the thing is, entertainment is very subjective. One person could think that this person's entertaining, or they could be like, "Oh, I just like the vibes." It's not necessarily like I think it's like funny or any funny contents, but I like being here. I like the vibes of it. But everyone has their own taste in what they like in a streamer too. But eventually, you find that audience. That audience will come to you because they just like you for who you are.
Hmm.
So my usual thing is just be true to yourself, right?
Yeah. Right, exactly. And now that you bring it up, I also know that there was like I went through a season where I started to well, I liked seeing people with like super high energy, and then they have like these random like high bursts like every 3 seconds, right? On stream. And that can still be kind of entertaining, but I do think there's some people who are just like they aren't, we use the phrase down to earth about it, right? They weren't
Yeah.
like they would just kind of like put, and you're supposed to you know put on a show and entertain, but there's a way to do it and still be genuine about it. And and there's been streamers out there who just kind of aren't as good about being who they are, just like being their real self on both Twitch and just like IRL everywhere else. So
Mhm.
I've kind of noticed that. And so, but then like later, as I was just kind of looking for like other channels to watch and whatnot, like I thought, you know what? I am going to start watching people with like more calm streams, and it's actually one of the reasons I came back to started watching your Twitch again. It was because I started enjoying more of the calm sort of vibes, more
Oh,
often. And so, yeah. And
no, I
so, yeah.
I appreciate that. To be honest, I feel like calm, chill vibes is definitely there, but there can also be times when I can get loud. I can pop off if needed. Especially in like if there's some kind of like big thing that happens in Smash or Mario Party. I always find it to be fun. But again, it's just being true to myself. I don't consider myself to be I definitely don't consider myself to be like overly competitive. Um, but I also like, expressing my excitement in these video games, but also, having that kind of sort of like kind of chill, relaxed vibe that people can just, hang out in.
I've seen the clips. But
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, so but like yeah, no. I agree. I agree. Yeah, I've in fact one of the guys who I'm considering the top streamer right now, is, or at least one of the top streamers, is it definitely has like a very welcoming but also very like entertaining vibe and whatnot. Like he's so like focused on that member of the community for like a few, like maybe like 2 minutes or so, and it's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And so
Also, sorry, do you mind? Someone's at the door. I think that's my brother. Do you mind if
sure,
I just take one
yeah,
second to open the door?
sure, yeah,
Sorry, yeah,
absolutely,
1 second. I'll be right
yeah.
back. Just a moment.
But yeah, while she is doing that, so definitely check out Altea Games. She does have some pretty good stuff on there, and if you haven't seen her, the link is right next to her webcam. It is twitch.tv/Altea_games. She's got good stuff, and so especially if you're like into the Smash community, or if you're into like other uh just other games, maybe you like watching Metroid or something similar to that, definitely check her out. But yeah, so welcome back.
Thanks. Sorry about that.
No, you're good. Yeah, so let's see, well established. I'm just looking through my notes because I'm almost blanking out here.
Mhm.
Okay, so here's a question I really want to ask you is so let's say some absolute douche comes into your Twitch chat, right?
Mm.
And it might be let's just say he's pretty obvious that he's not really interested in getting along with other people, right? Like,
Mhm.
how do you deal with those kinds of people?
Well, it depends on like what they say, because trust me, I have had some people where I've had to use my better judgment and think, okay, person's not here to have a good time. They're either here to troll or they're here to rile someone up, or even rile me up. Even, is there like a certain example you have in mind? Because I do have multiple answers, but it depends on the situation.
Like the one guy who comes in and let's say he hates on every character.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Or
Uh,
or he
or
gets
like
like
someone.
super toxic. Anyway, what were you saying? Sorry.
Oh no, no, it's fine. I've definitely had that. I've had some really weird moments where I'm not sure what the whole point was. If anything, it's kind of amusing because I just think like, okay, they're just here to troll, but they're making themselves look a little silly, just not being like a cool person. But if anything, I feel sorry for them because at the end of the day, like I'm just here living my own life and trying to just be a positive influence on
Hmm.
others. But then if someone's just going to come in and, try to upset someone by saying, oh, this character here is toxic and you are not skilled using it. No, like at that point, I usually just kind of dismiss the comment and I'll say something like, oh, yeah, like we all struggled this matchup. Or, it's like, if you're not a huge fan of it, then, like there are people here that, play this character, so it's just how it is. Like, if you're pretty much going to fight in a tournament setting, you kind of have to get used to playing any character or playing against any character.
Right. Right.
'Cause I've had some people that have also commented. Oh, this was a silly example too. There's one person, for no reason, first thing they say is, "I could beat any of you guys in the arena," and I'm like, okay. I mean, hey, you should try to jump in. We'd love to fight against you. But then they just don't say anything after.
Yeah. Like, yeah, oh yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, people who get cocky, they make good content. Like they make
Oh,
good content. Um,
oh yeah. But the weird thing is that person that I'm thinking of, I don't remember their name because I haven't seen them since that incident. I don't even know how long ago that was, but they say that they're gonna win, but they don't join the arena, which was odd, right?
hmm,
Like they say, "Oh, I can easily beat you guys," but they just don't join. And well, like, and you can't farm over content because they're not joining the arena, but they talk a lot, but they
they're
they
like all
haven't shown
talk but no
themselves.
walk, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they're there just to troll or if they can legit beat us or not. I don't know, but uh, hey, I can't say anything or make any judgments until I see them play.
Yeah. Yeah.
But and I've had some like people. Uh, I don't like talking about this usually just because it's just something that's quite unfortunate to kind of think about, but also it's just how it is for some. It's definitely not all the time. It's actually quite rare, but being I guess female playing a game, you get sexist comments here and there,
Yeah.
which it's whatever. It doesn't bother me because it's like, listen, I got a lot of close guy friends. They've said the same. No, I'm kidding. No, they happen to be same things, but there's some like trolls you'll run into on Twitch, but at the end of the day, just you kind of just have to like ignore those people. It sounds cliche again, but ignoring those kind of comments, it's the best thing to do, right?
Yeah. Oh
I
yeah.
don't know if you have any like specific stories you can think of where like you see a troll or they say something or they're trying to, rile someone up. I don't know if you have any stories on that.
Okay, so Sergeant Marcus is really good at slapping those people down. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have seen people who there's like maybe one or two people who came in. I actually think it was the same night, if I'm going to be honest. I'm not sure if it was like the same person, but the way I remember it, there's like two people that came in who said, I can beat everybody here. I know I'm the best. Yeah, and there's Sergeant Marcus. What's up, 20? And so like I mean he's like I'm gonna beat everybody in Marcus. Oh, and I think he said he could beat Marcus too. And Marcus is like, okay, you better watch what you're saying because I am very good at making you all people like you look stupid, and very unskilled. And
Mm-hmm.
so that's exactly what he did. And I mean I don't know if I still have a clip of this. I probably don't, but if I did, I would, oh man, I would totally show you because we made fun of this guy and it was amazing. And probably it was a good night. It was a good night to show somebody never to be arrogant on in any way, shape, or form,
Yeah.
um so
Yeah.
but yeah.
Arrogance is always something that really bothers me. It's maybe one of my least favorite qualities in a person, just because if you can talk shit but also insult others, like confidence is one thing, but arrogance is something completely different. And it's like if you're gonna come into someone's stream, talk shit on others, you better hope you can beat them because if you talk shit but end up losing, it's like, oh boy, like I feel bad for you, man.
Yeah, there's I was gonna say, there's only one person who could do it, but like he said something once and he was quiet the rest of the stream, and then he just kind of showed it, and it was like the streamer I remember goes, "Oh, hold up, this guy's actually cooking," and then and he just goes, "Yeah, I just had a few years of experience is all." Like you could tell he was like, "I should probably have held back on that one. I'm probably gonna get busted up," and he ended up not getting busted up, but yeah,
Mhm.
like those are such rare instances though. Most people are just the polar opposite, because just like you and I mentioned, it's yeah. Anyway, they're all talk, and then
Oh yeah.
you know, so but they don't, but then there's also
And
like
like
other people who are toxic too. And I like, people who just like flat out throw insults and say things that are just totally unrelated to Smash.
yeah.
Those are the people where you just gotta get the band hammer and it's like,
Oh
get
yeah.
out here. Yeah.
See, I actually going back to the whole like running to toxic people. because it doesn't bother me, but I don't know if you know this about me, but I used to be a TO for my university for Smash competitions. But one time before an event, we tend to usually have like, just regular casual games on the sides. Not that many setups open because, the tournament hasn't started.
Hmm.
But sometimes students that weren't in our club, they'd be interested, they'd want to play the game. I have a couple stories where I've had some, not so nice people say things behind my back, which is, totally okay. Like, to each their own. I know not everyone's gonna be cool with me, and I totally get it. Like, that's fine. I don't want, if anything, I just want to live my own life. But one individual I remember, because my friend had to tell me this. I kept on playing against one of my other buddies,
Okay.
who was helping me out with this event, and I kept on winning against him, which it's just how it was. Like, he's a good player, but I just kept on winning against him. But one of the students that was watching us, he said something to my friend when I had to walk out, grab some lunch before our event started. But the person ended up saying, "Why did you keep on losing to her? She's a girl." Which, in my opinion, is quite ignorant because it's like, okay, well, I'm not sure what gender has to do with this, but you can run into some weird comments like, yeah, yeah, it's some weird comments, but it's still a comment that kind of stands out to me because it catches you off guard. But my friend told
Yeah.
me this, and I'm like, oh, that's unfortunate, but it's whatever.
Yeah.
um, mhm,
Yeah. It was just the comments that you gotta like that.
mhm.
So
Yeah.
yeah.
There's also like other comments too where someone's like, "Oh, I'm fighting against the chick. It'll be an easy match." But then I end up 2-0ing them, which it feels yeah, it feels satisfying, but I if people are going to be like that, then it doesn't matter to me. Really, I'm just there to have fun, TO, play games, and yeah, if I happen to do well, that's good.
Cool. Always
Yeah.
good.
Yeah, yeah.
So now for the question that I've been kind of looking at for a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
what is the biggest fear that you have in streaming at the moment?
Ooh. So okay. The thing is with fear, I feel like a lot of that fear has disappeared, but it's not so much fear that I have nowadays, but something I really struggle to do is actually putting my content out there and self-promoting.
Yeah.
That it's not so much a fear, but part of me feels like, oh shoot, like I just don't do it very much. I don't know if it has something to do with me being worried or
Yeah.
scared to put myself out there, but all of the people that have noticed me, it's not so much like where I post my Twitch or something on someone else's chat or on like Discord or something. I would never like, promote my own stuff like on someone's Twitch. Like that's very tacky in my
Mm-mm.
opinion.
Yeah.
Unless if you're good friends, like that's something
Yeah.
different. But yeah, for me, anytime if like someone's like, "Oh yeah, what's your Twitch?" I don't put myself out there very much. So I think that's something that might be a bit of a fear.
Yeah. I mean, and plus, like, if I mean, especially if you're like, okay, Discord, there's an infinite amount of time you can access Discord, but like Twitch though, Twitch just has a finite amount of time when somebody's live, so it's like the idea of just promoting yourself on like somebody else's Twitch chat is like, well, they're only going to be on for maybe 3 hours, give or take, right? And so it's like it's just kind of like, okay, why are you taking my viewers away, type of thing.
Mm,
And then at that point, it's like, oh my gosh. But yeah, it's there's only so much time. Um,
mm,
yeah, but for me, if I need to answer my own question, I think everybody at this point probably knows what my biggest fear in streaming right now is, and it's an issue that I've dealt with at the beginning of this year, and it's an issue that I think could be possibly resolved. I don't have any wood to knock on, but
mm,
there you go. Uh, and so, yeah, that's drop frames. I've been talking about this for like 3.5 months, And so I don't think I really need to drag out the details again, but basically, it's a problem.
Dropped frames, you said?
Dropped frames is a problem, where it becomes like unwatchable. Yeah.
I
So
see what you mean.
yeah,
So
yeah.
you're worried about like if the quality sort of drops in the middle of stream, it's just that's something that scares you, right?
Oh yeah.
It so again, that is understandable, but at the same time, tech issues can always
They
be
can
it can
always
happen. It
always
can happen.
happen.
Yeah.
Like of all the technical issues, that's like the streamer's worst nightmare besides not being able to go live is dropped frames.
Yeah.
To the point where it's like the video just keeps buffering and buff. But anyway, everybody knows.
Oh,
But yeah, so that was something that I don't see any I don't see it happening at all like this week, which is good. So maybe.
yeah.
So
Good.
yeah, maybe a thumbs up. So but moving on from that now, what was the biggest mistake you've made in streaming, and what did you learn from that mistake?
Um, biggest mistake. Well, I can't say for sure if this is a mistake or not because if anything, at the time, I've mentioned it how in the beginning of my stream, I didn't really put much time or so much effort into my streams. But I think the biggest thing, it's more of something I regret rather than it being a mistake.
Hmm.
But I do wish that I believed in myself a bit more and put more effort into these streams in the past. Because it's not so much like something where it's like, oh, this mistake is going to cost you pretty much. But sometimes I wonder if I was a bit more consistent with my own streams, if I didn't just stream whenever I wanted to. I sometimes wonder how much would that have affected me? How many friends did I potentially miss out on meeting? But at the same time, I am changing that now. So in a way, I'm sort of saving that mistake and correcting it because nowadays I do put in a lot of time. But yeah, really the only thing is just that's how I correct it because yeah, it's an unfortunate thing I just didn't really take into consideration. But nowadays, if I am streaming a bit more, then I feel like I don't have to. There's no point in me looking back on that mistake and regretting it because I'm
Hmm.
fixing it now, and that's all you can do.
There you go.
What, what's worrying gonna do about it, right? If it's already something you're trying to fix, worrying's not gonna do anything.
Right on.
But
Yeah.
I don't know if do you have any sort of like regrets by any chance or anything like that?
Regrets? Probably not. I mean, the biggest regrets that I have is probably just not filtering what I was saying to my audience. It's doesn't usually happen, but there's been like a few times where I would say something and they're like, ew, like you would really say it like
Mm.
that, and then it just like they never return, right?
Mm.
And so it's like it's kind of one of those moments where you just have to really think about that kind of thing, which I'm usually pretty good at, but everybody like myself just kind of has that one-off situation and whatnot. Um,
Like
where
catch you on a
yeah.
bad day, right?
Um, or it could be a bad day. Yeah, it could be a bad day, or you might respond to somebody, just casually, and then it comes across in a kind of like a weird way, or just like a really, just a strange way, I guess. And so people are like, like you would sound. I'm just gonna name a random example. Like, oh, that's greedy. Oh, you're charging for X, Y, and Z because you think I'm not. I don't know, but anyway, random examples,
Mm.
but yeah, so that's kind of like been my one of my biggest mistakes. Also, like everybody likes, I've said that in stream podcast before, but yeah, but basically that's what it is.
Mm. Mm.
Yeah,
I get you,
yeah,
but
um, yeah,
they're all from the past and stuff at that
exactly.
point. But the important thing is actually like recognizing it's like yeah that wasn't cool, but hopefully just moving on from it, right?
Yeah, yeah, move on. Like definitely be aware of what you did, but then like when you watch that VOD, you just go, okay, I can do it this way next time, basically.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Um, So when you're watching other Twitch streams, and let's say come across like other Twitch streamers, like what are your favorite and least favorite traits that appear within another streamer that you're watching?
So, favorite thing. Um, Something that I sort of changed about myself because I like seeing it from other streamers. I like how some people can go out of their comfort zone to play a variety of games. And I think in my past, if I've seen, certain streamer friends, try new games, and it's scary, but it's also like pretty rewarding because that also allows you to like built a new audience. So that was something that I really liked in other streamers. So I sort of almost developed that over time as well. Even when my friends actually encouraged me to stream more than just Smash, Mario Kart, and Mario Party, which has been happening, and I'm glad that I've taken that inspiration from others because it does open you up to meet more people. So, but regarding least favorite traits, that's always tricky because um, I can't exactly give an answer for that because if there is something in a streamer that I don't like, I just won't watch them. Like I won't even be followed to them. Just I would stay away from them. So, but if I had to think of I guess something in a general example, maybe it's just someone who's just often rude to their audience or takes them for granted or just expects too much of their audience and says like oh like have expectations of their audience and be like, oh, you should be doing this and this because I am a streamer and I, give you content and stuff. To me, that just it's like that. Like you can't really do that because at the end of the day, people watch your streams. They put the time to watch your streams, but I can't think of anyone in particular because I can't associate with people like that. If someone is going to be disrespectful to their audience, just I don't like to be part of that. Right?
Yeah, yeah,
It
toxicity
it
is yeah.
Yeah. It just doesn't seem something that would resonate well with me personally, but cuz like for me, I'm someone who always wants to respect people. Unless if obviously if someone's being disrespectful, then it's like okay, we got to figure something out, but if someone is going to be very toxic towards others, I just choose not to associate with them. But good answer for that is just yeah, don't associate with people that are toxic towards their audience.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
I'm like just like you. I'm pretty much the same way. Um, I've started to kind of start liking variety streamer. I mean, I already have, but like but like, surprise. But like um the thing that like as long as your graphics aren't, I guess, like absolutely tremendously terrible, and especially if you don't change the 16 by 9 aspect ratio of your gaming capture or your webcam, like I'm fine. I'll watch your videos. If I think you're entertaining, if the interaction's high quality, then yeah, I'm gonna stay. I'm gonna watch. I'm gonna hit that follow button.
Oh yeah.
So yeah.
Mm.
But anybody who's breaking those rules, yeah, no, you're not gonna see me there for very long.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I actually remember this one streamer when I was searching for more Smash community or Smash streams. This one guy seemed pretty all right, but he had this one very annoying reward that for some weird reason people actually like to use, and the this reward was to mute this guy's mic audio so he couldn't
Mm.
talk. And so they kept using that reward on him. And so like a majority of his stream was he couldn't even talk because that reward was keeping him silent. And so I was like, dude, like, okay, I'm out. Like, no, thank you.
Oh yeah. I guess not everyone's gonna like that. I've seen it before in like some streamers too, but I think it's more of a fun way to troll the streamer which if that's what you want to do, I think that's fine. But at the
Yeah.
same time, it's like I understand why some audience might be like, it's not for me, you know?
Yeah.
But if it's something that makes a difference, if, the audience and the streamer is fine with it, then I think they should keep it. Plus it adds, a bit of kind of a unique sort of vibe as
Yeah.
well. And it is pretty funny seeing some streamers get annoyed with it too. So there's a bit of an entertaining aspect with it, but I get why from a viewer standpoint they're like, oh, I just want to listen, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And before, I think it's fine as long as the people enjoy it. Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Not my cup of tea, but I mean, some people might enjoy the silence.
Oh yeah, it's to each their own.
Yeah.
Cause yeah, I pretty much said the same thing as gaming over there, old big N gaming. Uh, yeah, if people like it, that's totally cool. But it's not gonna be everyone's cup of tea, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's totally okay.
Absolutely. Last streaming question before we start asking the gaming specific questions. What is the best suggestion that your audience has ever given you?
Best suggestion. Let me think. So it'd have to be like an idea here with think. Um, so an example, I think, someone I remember bringing up. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but one of my favorite things that I've done for tournaments was a CPU tournament, like
Okay.
CPUs only.
Okay.
But the catch was, it's not just, just CPUs fighting and we just watch and we vote. We'd actually have like our audience pretty much request a certain character and you'd make that character with CPU and whoever would win, would win a prize.
Okay.
Um I always felt it was really fun, especially if people are like legitimately like hyped up about it and like, oh, like, yo, this is so cool, and like they have their own character that could potentially win. So I don't remember who exactly gave me the suggestion, but the CPU tournament was just something that was an absolute blast. And I do plan on doing that one again soon. It's just money right now is just not allowing me to, but
Oh
I
yeah.
hope to at least. Yeah, it's one of my favorite ideas that someone suggested to me.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
Mm. But
Yeah. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
oh, I was gonna say, yeah, like I don't know if you've ever participated in it, but it's a lot of fun if you haven't.
I know Towers has had a very similar event, and I've participated in one. It was all right. It was all right. It's cool.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I will say one of the best suggestions that anybody's given me. So we talked, actually it's funny because we were talking about this off stream, and then but I wanted to touch up on it, but like back when I first started streaming, I actually had people come into my chat and say, hey, you should have a podcast, you should host your own podcast, you would be great at it. And it was a great suggestion, right? But at the time, I had a condenser mic, and you know how condenser mics, they'll pick up like everything around it, and so like if there's any sound bouncing off like glass, and the room that I was streaming in was a sunroom,
Hmm.
so like that made it worse. So I knew I wasn't ready for like a podcast at the time. I said, oh yeah, a podcast that would be kind of cool. I think I need to like up my equipment or something like that. Um, and then of course I got this dynamic mic and I moved into this apartment, and so yeah, I was and then so later, because I've been doing like Twitch streamer shout out videos. I don't know if you've seen any of them on my YouTube channel. And so I would do like a shout out for the first few people I did a shout out for was like Towers, Smart Alec Plays, Nomad SSB. And so those were the first three that I did a shout out for. And so
Right.
I was thinking, I was like, I kind of want to make another video, but I kind of like want to mix it up a little bit. But I was thinking, how am I going to do that? And my initial idea was, what if I made another video that said, uh, that was talking about how far those first three streamers have come and what's changed and what stayed the same. And I was like, maybe that would be a good idea. And then I just kind of vented that idea onto, you probably know Zila. And I was like talking to her about it, and she's like, she was like, there's a better idea. And so,
Yeah.
and so, she goes, what if you just did a podcast with the streamers that you shouted out? And I was like, that's a good idea. And so, well, I said it in a more friendly way, but I was like, that's a great idea. No, seriously. And so so I was like, I was hopping right on top of it. I was like, this is a so I started the podcast series within like a week after she suggested it. And so I was like, yeah. So we're here today. So
Yeah.
yeah,
And again, it's a fun idea, and if you obviously enjoy it, and heck, you're getting to know people too, so it's a whole bunch of advantages right there for you, right?
exactly. There's a lot of
Mhm.
advantages, and it's just like it's another way to, it's really another way to give people another shout out in this saturated Twitch industry.
Oh yeah, but as long as you're having fun, that's the important thing too.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Oh yeah.
What? So moving on to the gaming questions here. Who is currently the most difficult Smash player in your arena?
Ooh, most difficult? Okay. A couple answers. Um, well, for those who follow Smash, you guys probably know Vendetta FGC. He
Yeah.
would sometimes be, yeah, he's definitely one of our, definitely the more tricky opponent to fight in our arena. But I'd also have to give an answer. These are more like people I can think of that are consistently in our arenas, but Loco Lobo, which
Yeah.
is a DDD. He tends to run these arenas pretty often too. So definitely any either of those people are quite they're tricky to fight against in general. And
Yeah.
it's fun seeing people are like, oh shoot, like how can we win against them? There's 5 consecutive wins, 10 consecutive wins, and then so on.
Dude,
So
yeah, Loco Lobo is actually funny enough one really my most difficult player to face off against in my open arenas. Where's that guy been? He's been I haven't seen him in a long time. Yo, what's up, Loco Lobo? How are you doing?
oh yo.
Just in time, man. We were talking good things about you, man. Good things.
Oh, no, and the funny thing is, I actually met him at a SmashCon. He's a really nice guy. I actually the first person that I ran into when I entered the venue, funny enough. And he was like, "Oh, and I'm like, "Who is this?" And it's like, "Oh, it's Lobo." And I'm like, "Oh my god!"
Yeah. That's
So I
amazing.
thought, yeah, I
Yeah.
thought it was really cool.
Yeah, yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, and Loco Loba, man, he has that podcast voice. I really should invite him one of these days on here and just, you know.
I agree with that. I agree with that. He's just generally like a nice guy though, and it's nice when you have like a good player in your arena who's also very nice, because something right if you have someone that's really good at the game but also like not arrogant or not cocky or anything, they're just good at the game and they're just there to chill. That's what I appreciate.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's always a good thing too. I agree.
Mhm.
Yeah. Um, so let's see here. What are some other games that you're looking forward to streaming?
So, I have been on a bit of a grind with a lot of single player games. I pretty much went on like a whole Metroid grind. So I do plan on playing some Metroid Prime 2 and 3 before 4 comes out. Ideally, I'd like to play those games.
You're gonna love Prime
Um,
2.
I'm so excited to try it, and I'm gonna find a way to play it. I'm sure I can find a way. But yeah, the Prime series. I actually want to play a couple more Zelda games. So Link to the Past, especially is one of them. Breath of the Wild is made someday because I liked, or sorry, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of Kingdom, because Breath of the Wild is the game that I have completed, but Tears of Kingdom, yeah, just haven't had the chance to yet.
Yeah.
Um, And as even with my name, I'm a huge Fire Emblem fan. I actually want to try some of Roy's games. So, some of those old like Fire Emblem games, I definitely want to give a try on stream as well because I don't really talk about it, but I do enjoy strategy games in a way. I think they're pretty fun, and it is pretty satisfying. Being able to just look at a situation, you're like, okay, what could we do about this? And it's just a lot of fun, just thinking about it and commentating. The thing is with Fire Emblem is commentating the game and thinking out loud of like what your plans are. I've been told that people really enjoy it. They're like, I have no idea what's going on, but I enjoy watching this, and I'm like, that's cool. I appreciate that. So
Yeah.
I think those are like just a couple answers, but next year is going to be a like complete list of new games that I have not tried before. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah.
I take it you're a Prime 2 fan yourself.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Loco even yeah, and I have something in common too. He's like, "Ah, Prime 2 is my favorite, man." I'm like, "Yes."
Oh yeah. And like I don't know if you 100%ed Prime 1, but I ended up doing that kind of on accident because I had no intentions of 100% in the game. But when one of my streams actually, I ended up like doing a stream just collecting health and the missiles in the game, which was oddly satisfying and kind of relaxing as well. I seem to have a lot of people that were just hanging around, just chilling with us. So that was
Yeah.
something that I thought was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, that's really awesome. Um yeah, yeah, actually I 100%ed Prime 2 and I think Prime 3. I don't know if I've ever 100%ed Prime 1 though. But I definitely know my way around Prime 1. Actually the most. So,
Hmm.
um yeah. So yeah, that's like it's like a natural thing for me now. Like I've played the game for like 20 years basically.
Hmm.
Like ever since I was 7 years old, I started playing Metroid Prime for the GameCube, and I still remember when it was like completely new. And so, oh yeah, I was it was just it was a great game. Like, yeah, okay, I couldn't figure it out when I was younger, but then like when I think when I was turned I think I turned 8 or 9, I was
Yeah.
like, I wonder. Oh, I got an idea. And so, yeah. Also, don't play Prime One with Action Replay. Don't do it
Ooh. Oh, what's that?
because there's a so Action Replay is there. It's pretty much mods for
Yeah.
any games like Metroid Prime One. Well,
Yeah.
Metroid Prime One, there was a certain feature or like some certain mod rather that you could turn on where you like I don't remember exactly what it was. It was probably like you could just start the game off with like all four beams or in visors so on. You could be invincible if you wanted to. Um, and one of those options broke the game. So there was the Flarga plant that you would have to face off, and normally with a Flarga plant, you would walk into the room for the first time, right? And then that would trigger the boss fight.
Yeah.
Well, with Action Replay, it wouldn't trigger the boss fight. There was no trigger. Like you would walk into the room and nothing would happen. And so you were just stuck. Like you couldn't do anything in the game because you couldn't proceed through that boss fight.
Yeah, you were pretty much like soft locked in a way, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Which that's great. If I'm thinking of the right boss, was that like one of the first major bosses? It's like this giant plant or something, that's like causing poison or something in the ruins.
Yeah.
Am I
Yeah.
thinking?
There's a
Yeah, that's
poison
the one.
plant. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. And
With
Luke is
logo,
like,
yeah.
you're trapped in here with me. Yeah.
Exactly.
But yeah. So um yeah, it's pretty much what the game said as soon as he used Action Replay. It was just it was not great. Um but yeah, for me, so I've oh, cattail. With with me, like I've already got Rivals 2 now, so I'm really enjoying the game now. Um
Hmm.
absolute I absolutely love it. Um Prime 4 is definitely on my list. I'm pretty much
Yeah.
happy with everything else that I got.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, Smash Bros, Rivals 2, those are the main things that I'm streaming now.
Oh yeah.
along with, of course, the podcast series, as you can see right here.
Mhm.
Um,
Are
yeah,
there
yeah.
I was gonna ask you if there are any, like, particular games you want in the new Switch that's coming up, whenever that may be.
Um, Other than Metroid Prime, dude, I want a new Spyro game.
Oh, man. There's a certain someone in my community that will never stop talking about Spyro. I've heard good things about it, and Spyro's a pretty, good game from what I remember, because I grew up with it as a kid.
Yeah. Yeah. I want a game that kind of so that stems off of the third Spyro game though. That's what I want. I don't want like a totally separate, like you know how Spyro's been after the original Spyro 3 from like the original PlayStation, and like I want something to expound on the original series.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that's what I want, and I don't care if we give the character like more combat moves besides just like ramming into opponents and like breathing fire. Like, if you want to do that, if they want to do that, that's fine. Like, I'm all about that.
Yeah.
But other than that, like you know, it's got to make sense.
Of course, of course.
Yeah,
But yeah, it's a good answer right there. I mean, they've been coming up with a lot of good games. We've been getting spoiled for games, in my opinion. So we'll see what happens in a year from now, because that could be a possibility, right?
yeah. Oh yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be nice to see what happens next.
Hmm. I'm looking forward to
Oh yeah, you and I both.
it.
Yeah. Um. So, what was the most difficult game that you've played?
I like this question a lot, because so a lot of the games that I've played on stream, a lot of them were always going to be my first time playthroughs. So my chat always okay, so a lot of the time my chat's quite respectful of like not backseating or not trying to give instructions, but obviously I'm going to get lost or I'm going to mess up on something, and it's so much easier said than done if you're watching someone play it and you know what to do, right?
Yeah, I try not to be that guy.
Uh, I am not offended because like I get it because I'm pretty sure it's like if it's something obvious to someone, but then you're like watching someone play it and they're trying to figure it out. It's like I know it's just my first time playing and I'm trying to figure it out. But so an example to me is Cuphead. Um, I played that on stream for my first time, but the reason I had so much trouble with it in the beginning was you should never play Cuphead with keyboard. You have to play with the controller. Keyboard controls on Cuphead is like unplayable pretty much. But I don't know if you want to like add on that, but with a lot of that was happening in my struggles. I had a lot of people saying, "Oh, Altea's not going to complete Cuphead. Like she's cooked." And I'm like, "You know what? Because of that, I want to complete it just to spite those who don't believe in me." And I ended up beating it. I got a lot better after using controller, but oh man, I had some moments where I was just not having it.
Yeah, yeah. I've never played Cuphead, but man, yeah, that I've seen the game, and yeah, it has I don't have much of an opinion on it. I mean, yeah, I can say like the graphics are classic, but that's about it. Like,
No,
yeah,
I like if you want kind of like a quick kind of thing about it, like the graphics are fun, the music's great. You should listen to it if you're kind of into jazz and stuff. But I always found Cuphead to be a very solid game with like very fun boss fights, very difficult boss fights, but
oh yeah,
yeah, if you understand the patterns of the boss, you'll get the hang of it. It's just it can be unforgiving at times.
yeah, yeah.
But I totally get it if like it's like, oh, I've never played the game, can't say too much in it, but 20 is actually someone you could talk to because Cuphead's one of his favorite games, if I remember correctly.
Hmm.
So if you ever need to talk to someone and if you want someone to coach you, 20 is your guy.
Okay, nice, nice. I'm about that.
Oh yeah.
Um, Gosh dang, what was my most difficult? game. I'm trying to remember. Uh I think I said it last stream. I forget though. What my response to my own question is, but that,
That's okay.
yeah. It's been so
Oh,
long. It's been like 3 years since
oh
I've
yeah.
done a podcast.
Oh, it's fine. Off stream, I could also say Fire Emblem was there are a couple Fire Emblem games that are also pretty tricky as well, but I didn't play them on stream.
Mm.
Uh, but if we're talking about like, there's a lot of tricky games out there, but yeah, Cuphead. If you want a tricky game, you should try it. It's pretty good.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Um, what was it? Oh, what was your favorite and your least favorite games to stream, or yeah, games to stream?
So, again, I think I've been asked this before. Favorite game? A little tricky to answer because I have a lot of favorites. Because I genuinely love streaming Smash. I love streaming Mario Kart and Mario Party. They're my most consistent games that I stream. But if I were to exclude those examples, I think anything that has to do with like my childhood, like I always, if someone were to say, Altan, stream like a childhood game of yours that you love, and I'd be like, all right, we're streaming Zelda Wind Waker or Zelda Twilight Princess or Pikmin, like the Pikmin series. I adore the Pikmin series. Um, there's a lot of series that I love, but anything that involves like my childhood, I'll be like, oh, I'm so down to stream it. But a game that for me, something that I'm just like, oh, like I've streamed in the past. It just didn't seem to work well for me because, again, I probably jumped the gun on this decision and I kind of regret not going at it. But I don't know if you've gone into Xenoblade Chronicles 3. I still need to finish it, but I did stream it for bits, but no one seemed too interested in it. But I think I made that decision too fast. If I chose to stream it a bit longer, I probably would have had better I guess analytics at the end of the day. Um, but I'm also glad that I haven't streamed it because people with Xenoblade Chronicles 3 are really bad with spoilers.
Mm.
So that's the whole reason why it's like, okay, I'm a little hesitant on streaming it because there are some people that really like to spoil the game for anyone who's hasn't played it for the first time. So to me, that's just how I feel. But I hear that it's a really good game. It's not so much I dislike it or I dislike streaming because it's a bad game, but it's just due to spoilers.
Okay.
Did have you ever had like a game yourself where you're just like, oh, it's good, but it's not a good streaming game? You know, like,
Um,
do you know anything like that?
yeah, so there was a game that was actually both of the above. It was like, okay, so my favorite, we all know is Smash, but I mean, yeah, so far Rivals 2, still gotta say that, or I mean, now I gotta say that that's my other favorite game to stream, which is, freaking amazing. Least favorite game to stream, which is also a game I don't ever play off stream either, would have to be Mario Strikers Battle Royale.
Oh, I
Yeah.
heard that the remake for it. It's a remake, right?
It's like it's the sequel to the Wii version.
Yeah, I've heard that they kind of dropped the ball in it, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Think so. I haven't heard anything from it in like a long time, and so it's like, yeah, it was in development for a long time, and they just, I don't know what they did to it, but you know they
It they just didn't have it.
yeah, yeah,
They had to kind of drop the ball in it. Yeah, it'd be like that.
yeah,
Was
stinks.
it something like so you didn't like it because it just the gameplay didn't appeal to you, or was it like
It
like
kind of appealed to
mechanics?
me. Like, it appealed to me enough to where I wanted to stream it because I thought, oh, this would be a pretty interesting little competitive game to play. And then they just didn't really have enough features or characters in it. It was just, it went downhill like really fast.
Mm,
So
yeah.
yeah, it was like I streamed it for like 2 weeks. The other game that I would have to say is my least favorite, I'd probably, no, no, I wouldn't play it off stream either. Um, is Mini Shoot. what was it called? It was Mini Shooters. I think is what it was called. Wait, I can pull it up on Steam like right now.
Oh yeah.
Um, but it was library Mini Shoot Adventures. That's what it was. Like that game, I think I streamed for like a month, and
Hmm.
then it was just like the puzzle. One, like the look and feel of the game was it was pretty good, but like the reviews said, it wasn't like a game changing aesthetics, right? It wasn't
Yeah.
something that you would go, oh my gosh, this is amazing, like this is so artistic, it's like Breath of the Wild artistic, right?
Yeah.
Definitely not that. um it's its puzzles were actually probably a little bit too, I mean, I don't know. The puzzles just did not appeal because
Hmm.
you'd be taking like 5 hours just to figure out how to get a quarter of a heart container, and it's like, ugh,
Mm, okay.
yikes. Yeah. So, it just my interest in that game just went downhill. I was like, I'm not streaming this game anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just something they're like, yeah, it's not my cup of tea. It just doesn't seem fun anymore, right?
Yeah. No. Exactly.
Mm.
So sometimes you just got to drop the ball in games like that. You know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't comment on it too much because like for me, I actually haven't heard of it until you told me, but I will take that into consideration though, because not like I have no plans of playing it anyways, but yeah, sometimes it'd be like that with games.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Mm.
So I'm gonna ask a few more questions here.
Yep.
Do you have any subscriber goals right now on your Twitch channel?
Oh, like follower or subscribers?
Subscriber goals.
Um, so I guess flat out no, because I again going back to my thing, I don't like having expectations. I find that could easily ruin the experience for Twitch. But if anything, just for subscriber goals, just if anyone's just willing to do it, like that is more than what I could ever be thankful for. Because yeah, I'll just say no. I don't like to have those kind of expectations, you know.
Yeah.
But I mean, heck, the subscriber numbers, it's at least something that I've peeked at a couple times and have thought, oh wow, like this is a lot more than I had last year at least, which is good. But um it's more of like never have expectations because if those expectations aren't met, that is a good way to not be happy with your own streams, which is unhealthy and it's
Hmm.
almost toxic for your mindset. So I usually I've like heard people say like, oh, like like what's a better way to get subscribers? But it's like you can't like you shouldn't really have this kind of thoughts in your head.
Right.
It ruins the whole vibe of streams.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you been in an esports team? And if you have, then what's your perspective of the esports world?
Have I been on an esports team?
Yeah.
Ooh. Um. So again, not really, but if I were to be on an esports team, it'd be like a cool kind of thing to do. Um. Again, I think if I were to even be on one, like what kind of game would it be? Because I feel like Smash compared to like other competitive games aren't exactly like Smash is not as successful as other esports sort of I guess like communities, you know. I know that I think Counter Strike or Valorant, I know they have some very intense esports teams that are quite successful.
Yeah.
But I have no interest in playing in those games personally. I'm really bad at shooters in general, so and I'll probably keep it that way, you know.
Yeah.
But it's a cool concept. I respect anyone who is part of one. But at the end of the day, I think for me, I'm just more focused on like content creation or even being a TO. That's always just something that I always like to stick with.
Yeah.
Mm.
Cool.
Have you?
Cool.
I don't know if you've ever been on one. Have you?
Oh, actually, I'm part of an esports team right now. Team
Ooh.
Ultra.
Okay. Oh, yeah. 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 Isn't Champ part of that?
Yeah.
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 Yeah. Champ is a good friend of mine. Very good cause. Yeah. But he usually says the same thing. But
Yeah.
do you always like the I'm sure you love the energy. The people there must be pretty cool.
Oh, heck
It's
yeah.
Do you have any
Yeah.
favorite things about it?
So I mean, I'm a content creator for them. I do what I do. I stream Twitch for them, and so and then like I'll hop on like top eight in each like Smash Bros. T- sorry, tournament, and so yeah, it's really cool.
Mm,
It's nice being able to co-commentate with people instead of like, just like being by yourself and like, yay. Okay.
yeah.
So I'm like here by myself. But like, so yeah, it's nice. And then, you get to know people, you get to kind of get a feel for their commentary, and and then you got the challenges that you gotta work with them on and whatnot. So it's nice. And yeah, it's I think the part that I like the most, it was kind of commentary, but it's kind of both commentary and then like before top eight, just kind of just working on the scenes in the background sort of thing. So it's really nice. And and just learning more about commentating is also a really good thing, because I'll tell you, like, my commentary, it's been up and down. It's I've never been officially trained on commentating. So with Team Ultra, just kind of getting to understand more and more about commentating, and even if it means you have to take a million years to wrap your mind around it, it's fun.
Yeah.
And so I mean, and the most important thing is you'll receive some comments about your own commentating, and you're like, okay, I don't get that, but I'm gonna try. Okay, I'm gonna try. And it's good. It's rewarding in the end, at least if
Yeah.
if you can work on those weaknesses that you have, then you're golden. And when you are
Yeah.
at your top performance, you're golden. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Mhm. I always felt like even being open to any sort of criticism or any sort of comments, or even just good comments as well, that always can open you to being. It'll grow you into a better commentator at the end of the day. Because well, I guess for me, because you asked me about if I'm on an esports team or anything, which I'm not. It would be cool, but I have had a decent amount of experience with commentating because
Hmm.
tournaments I've hosted or being a TO for tournaments, I've also had to be, a commentator for it.
Hmm.
And I've always been told that people are like, oh, you should really get into commentating. You're pretty good at it. And I'm like, oh, I don't do it consistently enough, but hearing that kind of stuff is always flattering to hear. But it is, you're totally right when you say it is a lot of fun, and the people you meet, it's always a blast. And um, just doing these events consistently enough will only just get you better and better. So that's one way to look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. It's
Mm.
always nice to receive, constructive, like you said, constructive feedback from your own team and from other people as well. So,
Oh, yeah. Mm. That's always the important thing. Criticism, it shouldn't be something where if you hear it might be like harsh criticism, but I also think from your own perspective and think, are they right? Is this something that I should use for myself for the future? And well, is it going to help me in the future as well?
yeah.
So you can always just kind of look at it at it too.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. That actually does bring up another topic totally outside of esports. This has nothing to do with esports, but like sometimes you got to learn how to deal with criticism, kind of like what you said. Sometimes you got to relearn how to deal with criticism if it's been like that long, because I've had moments, there were a few moments where I had to, on an emotional level, just like, okay, we got to relearn how to deal with this, and we're gonna have to get myself straight here. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
Hmm. Hmm. But yeah. So what so second last question here. What do you see yourself achieving in the next 5 years
For Twitch
for,
or outside of Twitch?
for Twitch?
Ideally, I'd like to, well, I could see myself maybe streaming still in 5 years, but it also depends on personal life as well outside of Twitch. But um, ideally, just have a platform that could just grow even bigger. Um, as long as I'm still having fun with it, I don't see myself leaving it. So that could also open itself up to being a bigger content creator. Heck, maybe in 5 years from now, it could maybe move from Twitch and then it could just be moved to like more content on YouTube or TikTok or even a new platform that's not out in 2024. But
Yeah.
say 5 years from now, there's something that's replaced Twitch or replaced some kind of content creation app. Maybe I'll be on there.
Yeah.
Maybe it's like, okay, it's time to move my Twitch stuff, move my audience to a different platform. So
Yeah.
it's possible. And, hopefully by then I'd also have, other goals, I guess doing collaborations with more people that I look up to. Definitely traveling more to, meet those new friends and stuff. 'Cause I guess for me, like traveling to especially various parts in the States, there's a lot of places I want to go to, especially
Mhm.
for online events I have to do with Twitch.
Yeah.
So hopefully by then I have those goals reached
Yeah.
because I adore traveling and it's something that's scary, but something that I've always had so much fun with.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
But we'll see what happens
You
in
could
5 years from now.
multi-stream.
That is true. Yeah,
Yeah.
I could multi-stream, but um 5 years from now, it's like it is a lot of time. A lot of things can happen because it's almost been well. Next year's gonna be my 5th year anniversary, which is strange to say out loud, but who knows what'll happen, right?
Yeah. For sure. Oh, Noloko has a question. Are there fields you'd pursue if you could pursue them outside of Twitch, that you would like to share? Is that a question for me or for Altea?
It's a good question right there.
Yeah. There are fields you pursue outside of both of you. Okay, I'll let you go first.
Okay. Well, the funny thing is, Lobo, I'm actually still trying to figure out what these fields are for myself, because something I don't really talk about too much, but I would often work in either the writing field or social media fields. But nowadays I'm also trying to figure out what I want to do with like something else outside of Twitch. Um, so really, I guess at this point, it's a little hard to say what that answer is because I'm still trying to figure that out nowadays. But ideally, something that I enjoy. I don't want to work in a job. I this might sound a bit strange to say, but I don't want to work in a job where I'm just going to be miserable for the rest of my life because at the end of the day, we only have one life. I'm hoping to at least find something that's like a decent pay, of course, but also is something that I enjoy. And whatever that may be, hopefully I can find it.
Yeah. Yeah.
What about you?
Excuse me. So I've already like okay, so my goal is so outside of Twitch, like outside of the streaming industry, um, is I do want to become a supervisor at my job. It's definitely been a little time consuming because like now that field is a little bit saturated inside of my company, and like everybody wants to be a supervisor now. So it's like that's the thing. But also, in addition to that, still I talk about my cartoon series every once in a little while. I've really had to put it in the back burner. I've had to scrap it like 10 times to make it more, to improve upon the storyline and, make it more cinematic and whatnot. And so I did get to the point where I started doing character designs, which it was like really cool, but that's just barely scratching the surface. But now I'm kind of back at phase one again. So I seriously do need help. Like I seriously need help with my excuse me, with my my cartoon series. Like I'm actually thinking about maybe it's my finances, a movie producer is gonna have you heard of how much have you seen how much it costs to make a movie?
Um, so with movies, it's actually in my province, like movie making is quite popular.
Yeah.
There's actually a lot of like scenes that'll be filmed over here, funny
Yeah.
enough, but
Oh, yeah.
I know it's really expensive because I
Mm,
had a couple of friends that are
yeah.
also in the film industry that would also talk about the similar thing.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
I don't have a number in my head, but I know it's something very expensive.
Yeah. I'd have to make it like into a cinematic short, or I might have to do something completely different. I'm still thinking, well, maybe make it into a comic book or, I does if you like comic books, let me know in the chat because that's another option I'm willing to explore too. Because a cheap movie is 90 million bucks. I'm not joking.
Yeah, I
A
mean
cheap
that
movie.
that sounds about right, but it's still
Uh-huh.
so much.
That's a ton. Like, how do you get 90 million bucks or 91 million bucks? Like, that is, I can't do that. Even if I'm making like 100 trillion an hour, I can't make that. I can't make that much money. Um, so yeah, I got a lot of figuring out to do with that. It's just been on the back burner, like I said, because I'm also pursuing the supervisor job at my IT position and whatnot. So
Mhm.
that is so yeah, a lot of things that go on. And there's also just things I want to change about good things I want to change to improve it for the better of the stream. And so um and I think it's if I say so myself, I think it's my stuff is already good, but I am ready to push it a little bit. So that's another kind of goal. But that's inside the Twitch industry. Yeah. So there's a few goals that I have.
And that's
But
good.
yeah.
Again, like you'll definitely reach those goals, with a lot of time and effort put into it. So I'm sure you can do it.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's a fun goal.
Yeah. And thanks for asking that question, Loco. That was a good question.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's always fun, especially like when the audience gets involved too. So
Yeah. Well, my last question is how much would you rate this podcast on a scale from 1 to 10?
I would rate it. But it's like I was gonna say a joke, but I'm like, it's like no, I feel comfortable in the podcast. It was very some questions were just not like, oh, like what's your favorite color? Or like, just like very, very like questions that I had just to think about for a minute.
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely, solid 10 out of 10. Just
Yeah.
something where it's like, certain questions that are asked or it's actually like a lot more questions than I thought too, which is always fun. Like and the fact that it didn't feel like, this much time has passed, that shows that I had a lot of fun. So that's my answer.
Yeah. Well, good,
What
good.
would you rate what would you rate the person you were interviewing, so to speak?
Dude, 10 out of 10 answers.
Yeah.
10 out of 10
Appreciate
answers. Yeah. I loved it.
appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, thank you all for watching. And if any of you do not know who Altea Games is, the link is right right up there. Somewhere up there. There we go.
Wait. Is this the
Scratch.
right arm? Hang on. Wait, no, wrong arm. It's this one. Where my arm
Yeah.
is right there.
Yeah. Just it's just cropped, but it's like right up there. Just
Yeah.
look at this Twitch link. It's
Wait. No.
twitch.tv.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking at it. It's right there.
Yeah, there you go. It's like, yeah, there it is. Yeah, so check her out, twitch.com/Altea_games. And y'all, once again, I appreciate you. And we are gonna go ahead and we're gonna make a quick decision to raid. Let's see, it's Friday. How about we raid? Ooh, what about we raid Crazy Claus? I know
Hell
that's
yeah.
your favorite person to face off in a crew battle. So yes,
That was always fun.
W podcast. Thank you so much, Big N, and also thanks everybody who followed. I know I didn't say thank you in the beginning, but y'all are amazing. And welcome to the Seventh Theater. And so, everybody have a great weekend.
Take care, everyone.
Yeah.